Hello, it's nice to have you join us on Nationwide. I'm Naja'atu Tijani. President Muhammadu Buhari is on a working visit to Kaduna State, where he has inaugurated a number of projects. We'll now join Salamatu in our Kaduna studios for details.
Thank you, Naja'atu, and a warm welcome to Kaduna. President Muhammadu Buhari has commenced his two-day official visit to Kaduna State with inauguration of landmark projects executed by the state government under its urban renewal program. Suleiman Rigachikun reports that multi-billion naira Kawo overhead bridge is among projects inaugurated by the president. The report.
This is like a homecoming to President Muhammadu Buhari, but what may appear strange for him is the transformation of Kaduna metropolis. While inaugurating a number of projects in Kaduna and Kafanchan towns, President Buhari saluted the government of Kaduna State for the infrastructural revolution. He said government has provided enabling environment for rapid socio-economic development, hence the need for foreign and domestic investors to take advantage.
We have committed ourselves to changing Kaduna, and we have been very successful, and people throughout the country are appreciative. So we are writing history in letters of gold. I congratulate you for your achievements so far.
Governor Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai told his guests that his administration is desirous of transforming Kaduna State for future economic development. He said needed infrastructure for capital flow have been put in place. Governor El-Rufai called on citizens to support President Buhari in his quest to develop the country. Suleiman Rigachikun, NTA News.
For Nigerian youth to contribute meaningfully towards the national development, they must be skillful and entrepreneurial in thinking. This is the submission of speakers at the National Conference on Youth, organized by the Center for Economic, Social and Population Studies, Kano. Aminu Umar reports.
National Youth Policy recognizes youth as those between the ages of 18 and 35. Statistics have shown that this bracket constitutes the major percentage of the Nigerian population and those with voting power. However, they are the group that is least represented economically and socially. The National Conference, with the theme Future is Youth, aims to provide solutions to the challenges for them to take their pride of place in leading the nation. For this youth, the time to prepare is now. This, they believe, can happen if they are given the needed mentorship.
It's only when the son of nobody becomes somebody without knowing of anybody in Nigeria that we say the future is for youth.
So if at all they are allowed and they give them a chance to portray what they are, I believe the future will be better.
Minister of Sports and Youth Development Sunday Dari represented, including the Vice Chancellor, Bayero University Kano, Professor Adamu Abbas, among others, noted that youth are the energetic group of the population that need a proper guide to channel their strengths towards a meaningful venture.
We are looking for integrity, because you cannot just bring in a person that has first class but lacks integrity. Such a person will compromise on cases.
Scholarly papers are to be presented at this national conference, which is expected to provide practical solutions for a better set of youth the nation will be proud of. In Kano, Amin Umar, NTA News.
And that ends our package from Kaduna. Is back to Naja'atu for more reports on Nationwide.
Salamatu. Meanwhile, across the nation, the Nigerian military has rescued 27 kidnapped victims in the last 2 weeks. The acting director, Defense Media Operations, announced this at a periodic news conference in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Military operations across the country for the past 2 weeks, compiled and timed to brief the media. It's another harvest of success for troops. 863 terrorists and their families surrendered and 37 unrepented terrorists eliminated in the northeast.
The ground troops, with support of the air component, foiled
refining sites recovered and destroyed in the Niger Delta by troops of Operation Delta Safe.
Operation Delta Safe has continued to sustain its operational tempo in the fight against illegal oil production and other sundry crimes through kinetic and non-kinetic means in the South-South zone.
The armed forces also upscaled non-kinetic operations across the country to record more success. From the defense headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Similarly, with the inauguration of a special protection unit base, residents of Ona local government area in Akwa Ibom State can anticipate a crime-free environment. Susan Asukwo reports that Governor Udom Emmanuel also donated 15 new patrol vehicles to kickstart operations at the base.
Section 14, subsection 2B of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria states that the security and welfare of the citizens is the responsibility of government. Armed with this knowledge and knowing the importance of security to national development, the ultra-modern Special Protection Unit base, built by Governor Udom Emmanuel, will go a long way to tackle challenges of insecurity and bring an end to criminal activities in the state. Governor Emmanuel reassures the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies in the state of his support, contribution and partnership to ensure that crime is nipped in the bud.
And also still want to reassure all the security agencies in the state of our cooperation, of our partnership, of our collaboration to achieve our primary goal and purpose.
The Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, says the construction of the SPU by the governor is in line with President Muhammadu Buhari's unrelenting fight against insecurity in the country.
To support this immediate take-up, I have approved the following to be provided to this facility. That the base is designated as Special Protection Unit Base 27, our Iman Ona, Akwa Ibom. The allocation and the delivery of a brand new purpose-built pickup vehicle by the Post Transport Officer will be delivered.
Sited in Ona local government area, the Special Protection Unit base is equipped with an administrative block, blocks of flats, commandant's office, officer's mess, among other facilities. From Ona local government area, Susan Asukwo, NTA News.
And we'll head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by. Over to you, Adiola.
Thank you, Najatu. Lagos State government is committing unprecedented resources to reducing premature deaths associated with mental health challenges by 1/3, in line with the state's redesigned development agenda for health. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu disclosed this at the Lagos Mental Health Conference with the theme, responding to the mental health needs of a 21st century mega city. Musa Toliat reports.
The World Health Organization conceptualizes mental health as a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities to cope with the normal stresses of life and work productively to make contributions to his or her community. Although Nigeria has made significant improvement in tackling public health problems, there have been challenges with regards to mental health services. These include inadequate funding, dearth of manpower, which shows that the country has just 250 psychiatrists, as well as lack of infrastructure.
We have integrated mental health care into the general hospitals from 5 to 10 hospitals and the primary health care centers. We are also building a first-class mental health institution in Ketu region. When completed, it will probably be one of the largest in sub-Saharan Africa.
In our general hospitals, we're moving from 5 general hospitals to 10 general hospitals that have the capability to deal with more severe mental health disorders.
Stakeholders at the Lagos Mental Health Conference agree that building and sustaining investment in mental health will help reduce the impact of urbanization on mental well-being of residents.
Mental health policy and mental health legislation. These two are very, very critical to ensure sustainable mental health programs. We need the government to be viable, and we need private sector to also be viable. And the combination, the synergy, will probably give you the best mental health service in Lagos State.
Issues around community mental health and building resilience in post-COVID-19 era were also discussed. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Now, emergencies and disasters occur many a time without prior notice to the victims. Some natural, while others are mostly human errors. Abolade Salami in this report takes a look at response to emergency and disaster management in Lagos.
The metropolitan city of Lagos, with a growing population and intense economic activities, stands vulnerable to disasters and emergencies. Statistics from Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, shows that the safety agency in the first half of year 2021 responded to a total of 822 emergencies and disasters, reflecting a 60% increase compared with 2020. Most frequent were fuel tanker and gas cylinder explosion and fire outbreaks. The frequency of building collapse is not also in doubt, as witnessed when a 21-story building caved in Ikoyi and claimed many lives.
So if we are able to reorganize the ambulance services, the fire services, the building controlling agency, you will discover that to talk about coordination, the coordination aspect of it will be simpler, because all the ingredients that needs to respond to emergency are available.
While most of the successes recorded in disaster management have been attributed to timely distress calls and prompt response by emergency responders, the deployment of technical know-how by trained personnel, and the use of sophisticated equipment, as well as synergy with other safety officials, were noted as germane.
So achieving this was purely the effective and efficient stakeholders, cooperation, partnership, and synergy.
The interventions of responders to emergencies may have saved lives and property, but the need to adopt a new approach to handling disasters through the use of technology is being suggested as more result-oriented.
Coming all the way from Ikeja, for a fire incident in VI, you will encounter traffic. So, to me, that is slowing down their quick response to emergency in Lagos State. So I'm suggesting that they should deploy the 21st century equipments and technologies used in other developed nations to respond to emergencies.
As part of efforts to ensure effective response and mitigation of emergencies and disasters towards the realization of minimizing occurrences in Lagos, residents are being urged to be safety conscious and call the toll-free lines in case of any form of emergency. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Lagos. Let's take a short break. Nationwide will continue with Felicia in just shortly.
The ever-busy ancient city of Onitsha is a commercial hub with millions of commuters seamlessly linking other states daily for business, leisure, and other purposes. To upscale its road network, the construction of a 1.6-kilometer long second Niger bridge, including a 10.3-kilometer highway furnished with other infrastructure, has been in motion by the federal government. This project will ease congestion on the existing 56-year-old Onitsha bridge and boost the economic capacity of the state as it easily connects to other parts of the country. The completion of the world-class second Niger bridge Onitsha will be one of the many proud moments of the state, its people, Nigerians, and foreign investors. Onitsha, which hosts the largest market in Africa, is geared up to boast of an impressive road network. Once again, these moments are made alive by the federal government, and it is deserving of all the applause.
People, they make me laugh when they say 2K, not be money. 2K! You don't start, you don't start. See you. You never your fidelity get a lot of millions promo season 5 when you say, we just checking it 2K. You go to win plenty millions. All you need to do, carry waka. Enter any Fidelity Bank, open any Fidelity savings account, collect your ATM, or that account where you get already. Save just 2K. Then lucky winners fit win 1 million naira every month. On top of that one lucky winner go win 5 million naira and 2 million naira for another lucky winner, and 50 winners go chop 10,000 naira one by each. If you fit save 2K constantly, you fit carry up to 10 million naira go house. Oh, work.
My if you like, don't go open your Fidelity Bank savings account and collect your ATM. So, the more you save, the higher your chances of winning.
I hear what the man.
With Fidelity, we keep our word.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA TV College, JOS, for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. Courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects, including English language and mathematics. For inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
Femi Martins, just look at this.
African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by AfroSports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
Still watching nationwide, welcome to JOS. Plateau State government has expressed commitment to reducing maternal and child mortality to the barest minimum in the state. This came to fore in JOS during the flag-off of a special intervention program to cater for the nutrition needs of pregnant women and children under 5 years in the state. Caleb Cochin reports.
They are women to come out and take this once they are pregnant or they have children, they should come out and take this drug.
This special program, which is under the auspices of the World Health Organization, is made possible through counterpart funding from the Plateau State government following reports of stunted growth in children population. With a contract signed in July 2021, drugs comprising supplements, deworming, as well as iron and micronutrient products have been made available for the well-being of pregnant women and children.
All our maternal mortality, infant mortality, all those indices should come down if we really implement this project.
We're going to do all the possible best as a local authority to support and also to see the success of this program.
Major stakeholders underscore the importance of the exercise.
We found out that when a child is developing, brain growth is maximal at the age of 2 years. So anything you want to do as far as nutrition of the child is concerned should be done within those 2 years.
It is because of the lower nutrition status of these women that when they give birth, you hear of a woman bleeding to death. This shouldn't be the 21st century in Nigeria.
A playlet depicted how the program will ensure even accessibility by all concerned. In JOS, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
To improve healthcare delivery, Plateau government has presented beddings and other consumables to the Hospital Management Board for onward distribution to health institutions across the state. Bilkisu Nuhu reports.
The items, which are collective donations from donors and Coalition Against COVID through the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the State, includes personal protective equipment, beddings, and other hospital supplies. The gesture is to improve healthcare delivery in the state, particularly in rural communities.
To the glory of God, we have officially handed it over to the Health Management Board for onward distribution to the health facility in the state. And as I've said, the distribution list will be returned to the committee, and the committee will appropriately acknowledge those who supply these items.
On behalf of the benefiting health institutions, the Chief Medical Director, Hospital Management Board, appreciates government and other donors for the gesture, promising to ensure even distribution to the beneficiaries.
We will identify areas or those facilities that are in need. That some of them do not need some of these items because of donations that has been given by individuals and by government.
He reaffirms their commitment to providing quality healthcare services to the people. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
That wraps it from Jos. Najatu is back to you for more reports in Abuja.
Thank you and welcome to our Abuja studios. We're talking legislative matters now. Strict implementation of the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act will signal the international community that it is no longer business as usual in the nation's petroleum sector. The Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream noted this while on oversight of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Gunshola reports.
It is the first week of resumption of the National Assembly, and members of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream are already on the move. The mission to the Petroleum Resources Upstream Regulatory Commission is to assess the level of implementation of Petroleum Industry Act. The committee was clear that non-implementation of PIA would be a pointer to the failure of its leadership.
So we are now letting the industry know that the National Assembly is fully out to ensure that every single provisions as enshrined in the Petroleum Industry Act is followed to the letter without any form of ambiguity. The task ahead of you is enormous. It's enormous. That's why we must constantly work with the steering committee to ensure that you are properly guided without infringing on your independence, because that's what the industry is looking at.
We are very determined in ensuring that we perform in line, operate in line with the provisions of the Act. Suffice for me to say that we equally recognize the fact that your support, of course, which we have been enjoying since our assumption of office, is very key.
While assuring the Commission that National Assembly is ready for any amendment of the Act in line with the current realities, the committee encouraged the Commission to be firm with its mandate as the 21st century regulator in the oil and gas industry. In Abuja, Dayo Gunshola, NTA News.
Still on enforcing strict measures, the House of Representatives has resolved to conduct an investigation into alleged missing arms and ammunition across different formations of the Nigeria Police Force. This is sequel to a motion from the Deputy Minority Leader, Tobi Okechukwu, who referred to a report which emanated from the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation. The audit report alleges the disappearance of more than 178,459 varieties of arms and ammunition of the Nigeria Police Force as of December 2018. Among the missing arms are more than 88,000 AK-47 and 3,907 various rifles and pistols. Meanwhile, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill has been passed. The Nigeria Governors Forum has commended the leadership of the Nigerian Senate for accelerating the removal of contentious clauses in the draft electoral bill. The commendation forms part of the communique reached at the end of the forum's first session in the year 2022. The forum also appeals to the House of Representatives to follow suit in quickening action on the draft bill to facilitate its immediate return to the President for his assent ahead of the 2023 elections. The forum also pledges to dialogue with the organized labor on issues surrounding the petroleum subsidy to avoid disagreements which may further undermine government efforts at salvaging the economy. The forum expresses gladness over the declining pace of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 and urges state actors to ramp up the vaccination exercise and reinforce non-pharmaceutical measures. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Governors Forum has also reviewed the recently launched National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 and has received a presentation from the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has commended members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria for contributing to the socio-economic development of the nation and the growth of the transport sector. At the inauguration of the association's new complex, Right Honourable Gbajabiamila urged the union to remain committed to safety on Nigerian roads.
We will continue to do what we can to help your industry thrive. We will also continue investing significantly in road transport infrastructure, which will expand your routes and ensure that you can cover more ground quickly, safely, and at substantially less cost.
By supporting and setting up of the women wing of this very great organization is highly commendable.
We are assuring Nigerians of our commitment to do our best in reforming the road transport system of the economy.
Our partnership with RTN will ensure full compliance of their members to install the speed limiting device.
The need for regular sensitization on road safety to reduce carnage, the adoption of global trends in road transport, as well as optimum utilization of the Office for the Promotion of the Transport Sector were also advocated. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a break now. Do stay tuned.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
I know that in the last decade, this country has been at different wars trying to keep the peace and promote the sovereignty and the integrity of the country. The troops are doing their best. The president has given them all the necessary tools. It is left for us as young people and as Nigerians to give them all the support we can. We say kudos to all our gallant military men. Please, whenever you see a police officer in or out of uniform, if you know them, clap for them whenever they need be. Give them seats in buses and trains and airplanes. Have the airline managers reduce air tickets for them or train tickets for them. Show them that we appreciate what they do and show their families that there is something right and honorable and truly remarkable about wearing a uniform and going into the bushes and the forest to fight enemies of this country that are hell-bent in bringing your life to an end. It's a very tough time, but we have to all put our hands together. Please support our troops and support our police officers.
It's nice to know you're still watching Nationwide. Nigeria and the United States have signed a bilateral agreement through an act prohibiting the trafficking of cultural property and artifacts from Nigeria into the United States. The agreement is for an initial period of 5 years, which is subject to review. Anthony Forson reports.
The ceremony did not come easy. The driving force, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed, has had engagements at the highest level, engaging all critical officials at the bilateral level. The last was his visit to the Acting Assistant Secretary of State on Education and Culture in Washington. So, for him, signing on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria translates to a mission accomplished, just as the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, signed for the United States.
It is on the basis of this convention that Nigeria and the United States of America have agreed to leverage an American legislation, the Convention on Cultural Property Implementation Act, to prevent the illicit import of Nigerian artifacts into the United States of America.
The legislation, Lai Mohammed pointed out, was enacted by the United States to restrict importation into the U.S. archaeological materials dating from 1500 BC to AD 1770.
On the basis of this agreement, Nigerian antiquities being imported into the United States without relevant or requisite export permit will be seized at the border of the United States and returned to Nigeria without the arduous and costly task of going through the labyrinth of judicial and diplomatic processes.
We have to sensitize our police, our customs, our immigration, so that we are seen to be doing what we can to safeguard those assets of ours.
The U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria said her country has established same bilateral agreements with other countries.
Just in my time as ambassador to Nigeria, I've watched a vigorous international discussion advance on the provenance of art, including discussion of museum collections in the United States. Among other things, today's agreement is about learning from the past and recording through this agreement our partnership to preserve, restore, and protect Nigeria's diverse cultural heritage.
The Information and Culture Minister and his Foreign Affairs counterpart were joined by the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria to inspect an exhibition that was put up in Abuja. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Into electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and security agencies have commenced preparations ahead of the Ekiti and Osun gubernatorial elections, as well as the 2023 general elections. Mayor Ogidi covered the Interagency Consultative Committee meeting on election security and now reports.
Both on air and land, the presence of security personnel is visible on election day, and this gives some confidence to the voters. It is Thursday. Tough discussions, just one item agenda. Review of the security situation ahead of the governorship elections in Ekiti, Osun, and the 2023 general elections. 2023 looks far. However, far-reaching decisions must be taken right from 2022.
Securing the nation under the current circumstances is challenging enough. It is more so in an election year. Beginning from this meeting, we shall focus mainly on the best way to secure the electoral process in the most professional manner.
To this end, all available security and intelligence assets of government will be mobilized towards achieving the set objective.
The complex feeling that elections provoke is palpable in this meeting, but for the INEC chairman, it is not one-man show.
Our responsibility is to protect the process, to guarantee its integrity, while leaving the outcome of election to voters to determine.
On the continuous voter registration exercise, INEC activated only 811 centers nationwide last year due to security situation. But the chairman of INEC promised that soon all the 2,673 centers will be activated to make the process seamless. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
In the run-up to the 2023 elections, the All Progressives Women in Politics are demanding increased inclusion of women in governance. They made this call on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while discussing the just concluded Women Political Conference held in Abuja. Ekimini Williams reports.
Women participation in elective and appointive positions in Nigeria is estimated at 6.7%, which is far below the global average of 22.5%. The Progressives women feel that it is time for women to start pushing for increased presence in government, not only through advocacy, but by looking out for themselves.
A country, certainly, that is engendered is a country endangered. We are all in this together. We can hear, we feel the pulse.
It's important that changing strategy will also require us coming together and reviewing existing strategies, as well as, getting other voices from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, to tilt towards the same objective, which is more visibility for our women.
Critical to this goal is a digital academy where successful women stand as role models for others, disseminating leadership skills and knowledge.
The sharp decline of women representatives in all elective offices in the past 10 years is heartbreaking, and I will allege it to the insincerity of our political leaders.
We have capability. We have the passion. Look inwards. Look at us. Give us more responsibilities. You have a Minister for Finance that is doing so well.
The Progressives women are keen on driving the agenda to the grassroots to bring more women on board. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And on the educational front, government is putting together a robust strategy to reposition secondary education in the country for better outcomes. The Minister of Education made this known at the inauguration of the first ever governing board of National Senior Secondary Education Commission in Abuja. The senior secondary education has been the only subsector operating without functional regulation or an intervention body. The Commission is responsible for prescribing the national minimum standard for promoting and regulating senior secondary education, both in public and private schools, as well as providing financial intervention for states.
On every side, there's the effort of government to improve the quality of output of secondary schools. It will lie on your individual shoulders for the next 4 years.
All opportunities should be harnessed by members of the board to put the Commission on a sound footing to provide the roadmap for an accelerated delivery of inclusive quality education to all Nigerian citizens.
The act establishing the commission was enacted in 2004 but remained until 2 years ago when it was resuscitated with the appointment of an executive secretary in June 2021. Kaduna State Government is engaging civil society organizations and relevant stakeholders to scale up campaign against drugs and substance abuse in the state. The coalition of concerned citizens is to harmonize their position and adopt a more practical and pragmatic approach to confronting the problem headlong. Achari Maxwell reports.
Kaduna State is among states witnessing increased cases of drug abuse in the country. Statistics show that Kaduna State accounts for 10.6% of drug addicts out of its total population figure. The consequences of this is increase in crime rates, especially among the youths in the state. As a result, concerns keep mounting among the people, which compel the Kaduna State government to seek synergy with critical stakeholders in finding lasting solution.
train the people so that they will do their work very well, because you see so many people doing a drug reduction program, carrying postal everybody. It's not every people you use posters for. It's not every people you go and talk to. There are strategies, there are way of doing these things.
Some of us will actually network from this particular engagement, which of course, when there is issue in the society, if it's not within my area of jurisdiction or is not my area of coverage, I can easily contact somebody and say, this is a case, know what to do to engage the community so that this particular person will get out of it, or this community can be rid of this particular issue.
Believing that fighting drug addiction requires a multidimensional approach remains key to state government's engagement.
This interaction will help us to do a proper mapping of these NGOs and civil societies organizations so that we know who is working where and work together with them. We cannot be everywhere, but with these very passionate people, we can reach the nook and crannies of Kaduna State.
Sustaining this collaboration will help in addressing drug-related offenses in the society. In Kaduna, Achari Maxwell.
Similarly, in Lafia, the fight against the use of illicit drugs and substance abuse by the federal government is achieving positive results, say participants at a sensitization program on drug abuse and its consequences in Lafia, organized by the National Orientation Agency. Charity Ashiki reports.
It's no longer news that despite efforts by security agencies, social vices and crimes have continued to pose threats to the socio-economic fabrics of the country. Apart from other factors, consumption of illicit drugs is readily fingered as a motivation to the upsurge of crime. The one-day sensitization program is to reawaken the consciousness of all stakeholders to this danger.
It is strategic for us to do this in this year 2022 and at the beginning of the year, because it's a pre-election year and all the activities are already being heightened up towards election.
The drug trade is the second most lucrative industry in the world, following arms trade but preceding oil.
So this sensitization, I think, is timely because we need to put heads together and ensure that these activities are checkmated.
Other stakeholders who decry the effects of drugs on the society say it takes the efforts of all to reawaken the society to this reality.
It could not have come at a later time than now, considering the incidence of drug abuse, political thuggery, kidnapping, and other vices that bedeviled the nation.
This is a thing of concern, and I think that the society as a whole must take time to address.
In Lafia, Charity Ashki, NTA News.
Now that the Yuletide is over, workers at the Cross River State Chicken Processing Factory, also known as Kalachika, are on vacation, creating a labor shortfall at the factory. To close the gap, the factory received an unlikely volunteer in the person of Governor Ben Ayade on a visit in preparation for NAFDAC certification. Paul Abel reports.
Governor Ben Ayade, who describes his experience at the chicken processing factory as worthwhile, revealed that the factory value chain is providing employment for about 100,000 persons.
Our factory is completely ready to get to the market. We are the last phase of NAFDAC certification, and the certification is taking the process because we actually need to separate the section of the live birds from the production line. So in order to create a control system, NAFDAC have given us clear specifications, and we are adjusting our production process to meet the NAFDAC criteria. In addition, we need to set up a laboratory. The laboratory is in place, but there are certain sensitive equipment for the final testing. So indeed, that's why you've not seen us launch it aggressively in terms of marketing, in terms of advert, because we need the final NAFDAC certification to do so.
The governor also throws light on the technicalities of the production process, provision of feeds for the poultry to feed the factory, among others.
This is essentially organic chicken that Cross River State is bringing to the market. No synthetic chicken, no chicken impregnated with preservatives like formaldehyde. You have pure, fresh, natural chicken. You see it from when it's a live bird to when it's processed and packaged for export. So definitely, this is just one great achievement of the government of Cross River State, creating a value chain for almost 100,000 people to be taken off from the unemployment market from one factory.
The government promises to sustain the running of the factory to meet the protein needs of Nigerians. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Governor Ben Ayade in volunteer mode there. Nigeria recorded a 9% reduction in the number of road traffic crashes and a significant 26% reduction in deaths due to road accidents in the year 2021 when compared to the previous year. Corps Marshal Federal Safety Corps said this while reviewing the end-of-the-year operations of the Corps in 2021 and 2022 strategic goals. Oyeyemi Ajayi reports.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, during the 2021 end-of-the-year patrol operation, which was codenamed Operation Zero Tolerance for Road Crashes, had a definite mandate of ensuring that road mishaps are brought to the barest minimum. In the period under review, the Corps apprehended 20,845 offenders, impounded 11,060 vehicles, while 9,787 confiscations were recorded. In spite of these, 600 road traffic crashes were recorded, and 52% of these were as a result of overspeeding.
The alarm about the issue of speed since the beginning of the year, and that this year we are determined to tackle this. And most of these crashes we mentioned now involves more of private vehicles. On the issue of this speed, we are taking it very seriously. If you remember at the beginning of the end of the year patrol operations, we raised alarm and there are specific directives that the issue of speed limiting devices will not be compromised. And we have given very strict directives to the patrol teams. All commercial vehicles must fully have the speed limiting device installed in the vehicles.
Other factors highlighted include driving under the influence of drugs and alcohol, night driving, road violations.
Similarly, in Cross River State, the Vehicle Inspection Unit of the Department of Public Transportation says vehicles which are not roadworthy will be taken off the road from January 30, 2022. The Director, Road Traffic Officers, Paul Bepe, said this during a one-day training for personnel in persuasive law enforcement and ICT. Achibong Basi reports.
Describing the theme of the workshop, adapting ICT technology and persuasive law enforcement, a tool for safer roads and improve revenue generation in Cross River State as apt, the Executive Chairman, State Internal Revenue Generation, Akpanke Oga, commends the vehicle inspection officers who have been adjudged to have the most professional and finest personnel in the discharge of duty in Nigeria.
Yes, they're doing a fantastic job. Cross River is a big state, geographically, so I know the VIOs probably have a lot of challenges in mobility, staffing, training, which we observed, especially training, adapting technology and all that.
The Chief Vehicle Inspection Officer, Paul Bepe, while speaking on the need for persuasive enforcement for safer routes, also reiterates the need for data manifests.
Like you know, almost all the crimes committed are through the road, either through motorcycle, tricycle, or vehicle. So it is now a concern to us as a department to ensure that those things are in place.
The department further disclosed plans to achieve a safer routes by improving its services through networking, through public orientation, to properly sensitize road users on the do's and don'ts. In Calabar, Achibon Basi, NTA News.
And from Calabar, we head to Benue State, where circumstances surrounding the gruesome murder of a staff of Benue State Internal Revenue Service Sixtus Tefa Akure remain unclear. Considering the way his lifeless body was discovered, staff of the BIRS and other members of the public are making a sincere call for proper investigation into the matter to uncover his killers. Sandra Dowesi Akeme reports.
Mr. Sixtus Tefa Akure, until his demise, was a tax officer with the Benue State Internal Revenue Service, posted to North Bank area of the state capital. On the ill-fated day, the late Sixtus Akure, according to his colleagues, was at his duty post, where he was allegedly molested by men in uniform and weeks away, only for his lifeless body to be discovered the following morning.
Whenever we were on duty, they come and demand for fuel. When they came back the third time, the staff which was on duty on that very day now went close to them. Why we the helpers ran away, and then he went there to like approach them and let them understand that that was the situation. That was them when they started molesting him anyhow.
For how long? Because the person killed is someone's husband, is someone's son, is someone's father. At least justice should be done about his death.
We need state government to give us security here, because they have been molesting us here like that. So at least we are not doing an illegal job.
But it seems like these guys are bent on doing what they are good at doing, because nobody is there to follow up this matter. We need more protection in our work. We cannot be running from criminals, armed robbers, bandits, and then we come back home to our houses doing our jobs, and then the men in uniform still be oppressing us.
An official of BIRS, Victor Beke, regretted that members of his staff have continued to come under harassment in the course of their duty, a situation he describes as unfortunate.
Where these boys are working, their legitimate duty post, where even this guy was picked up, was where he was working was his duty post. These are inspection points for those who have not paid the right taxes.
Police Public Relations Officer Sewisi Anene says the command has launched investigation into the incident to uncover the cause of Akure's death.
Investigation into the cause of his death and who is involved is ongoing. The command will communicate to you officially when we find anything in connection with this death.
As a mark of solidarity, staff of the BIRS have locked the gates of the organization, demanding justice for their allegedly murdered colleague. In Makudi, Sandra Dowesi Akeme, NTA News.
And NTA will continue to keep you updated. Up next is Sports Update.
Celebration still continues following the Super Eagles' tremendous wrap-up of the AFCON 2021 group stages with a 2-0 second-half victory over Guinea-Bissau. Austin Iguavon's Super Eagles are the first side in this year's competition to sail through the group stages without suffering defeat, having defeated Egypt and Sudan in their first 2 matches. Fans have reacted to the Nigerian team's downplay of Guinea-Bissau.
You know, we now see them playing with a lot of purpose, see them playing freely, expressing themselves, you know, and playing just the way we've always been asking for them to play.
I think we have a team, and I believe we have what it takes to win the trophy if they continue this way.
Meanwhile, today's final decider will see goalless Algeria play Ivory Coast in a survival match, while Tunisia have a date with Group F leaders Gambia, and Mali will look to seal their place in the knockout stages with a Mauritania showdown by 8 p.m. Following the announcement by the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, to establish a naval polo team, the team, upon inauguration, has gone ahead to win its first trophy in the 2022 Port Harcourt International Polo Tournament, beating Shabazz 5-2 and Afgol in 4 shuka. Receiving the trophy in Abuja, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo commended Team Naval Polo players for bringing home the trophy and promising more support for the team.
I'm very happy, and I pray that this will open the floodgates for more successes in sports and in our operations.
Were well sought after.
Yes.
And to the will of God, we're able to get this call. Yes. And we're happy to bring it to you this evening, sir.
In tennis, Britain's former world number 1 Andy Murray suffered a 6-4, 6-4 defeat to Japanese newcomer Taro Daniel in the Australian Open second round, ending his quest for a Grand Slam title. With sports update, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
Thank you, Cynthia. Sports Update concludes nationwide. Thanks for watching, and do remember to keep supporting NTA's campaign against rape and rapists. I'm Najat Atutijani. Keep staying safe.